everybody, this is Mrs. Woram. Today we are going to continue our reading of Toby's story, and I have permission from Scholastic to be reading it aloud to you. This is written by W. Bruce Cameron. We are currently on chapter 6. Last time we left off, our friend Toby made his way into the kitchen, and he was not well perceived at the moment. So we're going to pick up on chapter 6, and here we go. To my surprise, the face of the man who had me in his hands broke into a smile. "Little rascal, aren't you?" he said. "I've heard about you. You're Toby. I'm Eddie, and this is my kitchen." Maybe I wasn't in trouble after all. I wagged hopefully, and Eddie laughed. He smelled delicious. I squirmed to get closer to him. I could smell butter and salt and juicy meat. My nose twitched wildly, and I realized that the scents didn't just belong to Eddie. They were all around. There was a pile of sliced up oranges on a table with a powerful odor that was sharp and sweet all at once. Bread was toasting, sausage was sizzling on the grill. My tail wagged faster and faster. What an astonishing place I discovered. I liked this room. I liked Eddie a lot. Eddie kept laughing as he put me on the floor, and I snatched up the ball before it rolled away. But then I dropped it again because Eddie held out a finger with a sticky smear on the tip. Peanut butter. Marvelous. I heard running footsteps, and a moment later, Tyler burst into the kitchen. "I'm sorry, it's my fault. I threw the ball, and Toby ran after it." I wagged hard for Tyler. I couldn't stop to licking to go to him. "No kidding," Eddie sounded amused. "Here you go, Toby boy. I just got something better than peanut butter. Want some bacon?" Something dropped to the floor right in front of my nose. Something that smelled salty and meaty and amazing. I grabbed it between my teeth. I crunched. It was the best thing I've ever tasted. Better than any dog food Mona had put in my bowl. Better than the treats my other friends sometimes fed me. If this was called bacon, I knew I wanted more of it. Maybe I belonged to Eddie. Since he fed me the best treats. That seemed reasonable. It would be all right with me. "Never met a dog who didn't appreciate a piece of bacon," Eddie said. "But keep him out of my kitchen, okay?" "Sure, okay." Tyler picked me up. Here's a picture of him getting the scrumptious food. I was still busy with the bacon as Tyler carried me away from Eddie and the kitchen. The heavy door closed firmly behind us as we left. I wiggled, trying to get back to my new friend and my best room I've ever been in, but Tyler wouldn't let me go down. "No way, Toby," he said. "We better get you back to Mona." Mona? I knew that name. I wagged for a little for Mona and licked my chops to get those traces of bacon that I could. Maybe I could get another chance to visit Eddie in his bacon suit. Tyler brought me to Mona, and then something wonderful happened. Mona held me on her lap and rubbed my tummy while her mother tenderly unwrapped the bandages from my feet. "There you go, Toby," she said as she pulled off the last scrape of the white gaze. "All better." She sat down. "Mona, let's get going." Running was so fantastic. It was great that my new house was so big. There were so many wonderful spaces. I tore up and down the hallways, skidding on the tile. Mona and Patsy wanted to play too. They chased me. I barked with joy. Fran came out of her office with her hands on her hips as I dashed by. "What's all this racket?" she said. "What happened to the calm puppy?" I didn't hear if Mona or Patsy said anything to her in reply. I was too far ahead. Mona caught up to me at last and went outside with me so that we could play some more. We played that game over and over a few days. I'd run down the hallway and Mona would chase me and take me outside once she caught me. Sometimes other people played too. Patsy did often, Tyler did too. Once Eddie even joined in. I let him catch me quickly because I thought he might have some bacon, but he didn't. Oh well, maybe next time. When we played, I dodged in and out of the rooms and jumped on the beds and chairs. Sometimes there were people on the beds or in the chairs. Most of them laughed and a few gasped with surprise. Often they wanted to pet me, and I'd let them for a while, and then I'd wiggle out from under their hands and start running again so that everybody would chase me some more. It felt like the games I'd play back in the pen with my brothers and sisters. It was so much fun. A few days after the bandages came off, Mona and I were playing chase when I darted into the room, leaped upon the bed. Wow! Hello there, boy, said a person who was laying in the bed with a glass on his face and a book propped up in front of him with glasses on his face. Sorry. It was Granddad. I knocked his book out of his hands and licked all over his face. Oh, I'm sorry, Mona said, gasping and running into the room behind me. He's got so much energy ever since those bandages came off. He keeps getting away from me. No problem, Granddad said as he petted me warmly. Nice to have somebody who's the happy to see me. Hey there, said the woman sitting in the chair across from him. She shook her head and laughed. Tyler and I were always happy to see you. This woman said Tyler's name, and she smelled a little like Tyler. That was interesting. I jumped off the bed and went over and sniffed her feet and legs. Toby doesn't nag me about getting on the treadmill, Granddad said, picking up a book again. Now, Dad, please, the woman said. Just 5 minutes a day. I'm not a runner anymore, Granddad said, and he sounded grumpy. Running is for tracks and trails outside, not one kind of machine indoors. Where's Tyler, anyways? How's he going with his running? I heard the woman in the chair say something, but the cart rattling by the hallways was more interest to me. Carts had always had fascinating things on them. I was beginning to learn sandwiches, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, wiggle bites of jello. I dashed to the door, ready to investigate, but Mona snatched me before I could get there. No way, Toby. You can come with me, she said, and she took me outside. That was the start of something Mona called training. Training meant that Mona would sit on the grass beside me and hold a crunchy treat in her hand. Sit, Toby, she'd say, and press on my rear until my legs folded underneath me. Or she'd say, down, Toby, and would gently put my legs onto the ground until I stretched out onto the grass. Then I would get a treat. And that was really the only fun part, honestly. I thought we could have some better games to play, but I liked Mona and I liked the treats, so I went along with it. Or I went along with it as long as one of my friends didn't walk out the doors to join us on the lawn. Then I'd run over and greet the new person and see what smells he or she had brought. Or as long as the squirrel didn't try to climb on one of the trees near the fence, in which case I need to chase that squirrel and prop my front legs up on the tree and bark and bark. Sometimes Tyler would come out to play training, and Eddie came to watch now and then as well. Once Eddie sat down on the grass with me, and I instantly burrowed into his lap, sniffing up all the delicious smells that clung to his chin and his clothing. Eddie smelled better than anyone I've ever met. Eddie laughed and took some of the treats from Mona. Let's see if I can get on this training, he said. Mona sat down on the grass to watch us. Eddie told me to sit. I did, and then he gently pushed me onto my shoulders until I felt a little bit off balance, and I shifted one paw steady myself. Shake, Eddie said, and he had lifted my paw into his hand, and he'd give me a treat. Crunch! I snapped at it. I like treats. I liked Eddie. We did that game a few more times until I got impatient for the treat. When Eddie said shake, I didn't wait for him to push on my shoulder, and I just picked up my paw and put it in his hand. Good boy! Eddie would give me a treat right away. Smart thing, isn't he? He's going to be a great dog to have around the place. Maybe, Mona sighed, if we can figure out stay. He can't stay. Let's give it a try, Eddie said. Mona got up and she tried hidden in her fingers. I could smell it, and a little drool dripped from my chin as I thought about how much I wanted the treat. Sit, Mona told me. I figured that one out. I put my rear on the grass and my tail beat against the ground. But Mona did not give me the treat. How unfair! Stay, she said, and she took a few steps backwards, then another. Whatever stay meant, the important issue was I wanted that treat. And I wanted Mona. I wanted to play with her and lick her and feel her fingers scratching on my back and rubbing my ears. Why did I have to sit and do nothing when I could be with a girl like Mona? I jumped up and barked and I ran to her, wagging wildly, jumping up over my feet and her knees and her pants up to her face and remind her that I was here and I needed to be played with and given a treat. Oh, Toby, she sighed. She did not give me the treat. I didn't mind too much. I just spotted a wiggly line of gray fur zipping up the tree on the far end of the lawn. A squirrel! Squirrels were meant to be chased. I dashed, barking as fast as I could. I could hear Eddie chuckling behind me. Running over the grass was wonderful. Eating treats with Mona and Eddie was wonderful. Training, not so wonderful, but I didn't mind. I was just glad to be outside in the soft grass that scent reminded me of the ranch in my nose, the smell of the fresh growing things, that warm dirt and quick moving air, the smell of running. All right, third grade, that ends chapter 6. So on Monday, we will pick up and we will continue reading chapter 7. I hope you're enjoying this book as much as I am. I know it's giving me a little bit of perspective of how life and thoughts that my dog would be thinking about. So I hope you're enjoying it and making some great connections as well. Until next time, see ya.